Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our Bold Moves online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. And this is your girl, Kemi Akiode Adebayo, also known as Mama K. And in today's program, I've got a dynamic, multi-talented, very committed young councillor who is doing wonderful things in the community of Delft, Cape Town, South Africa, in the name of Councillor Dineo Masiu. So, Councillor, how are you?
I'm okay, and you, Mama
Okay.
K?
Did I get your name right? I
Yes,
need to be
you
doing
did.
all that test. I'm lazy with names. I need somebody to help me.
At least you can remember. I'm not very bad.
Okay. So, where were you born and what's life for you?
I was born in Cape Town.
Okay. Whereabouts in Cape Town? In Gugulethu, Gugs.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm the second eldest.
Okay.
The only daughter.
Oh.
I've got 5 brothers.
Oh my word. Yes. That must be tough.
Very much.
But saying that, I believe, you know, when you have brothers, they actually look out for you and they let you get away with things.
I think my oldest brother was the one who look after me.
Okay, the others didn't.
Up until I thought I was bigger than all of them. So they look up to me now.
Okay.
And my bigger one still feels that he is my big brother. He always makes sure that I remember.
You remember.
Like, listen, I'm your big brother. Stop making yourself old.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because we're only a few months apart.
Ah, really? Wow. That's... Your mama was
77,
busy.
76, so that's not much difference.
Your mama didn't take time. It was like, okay. So growing up in a boys only kind of group, how has that affected your life?
It made me stronger. Because you know how boys are. I was kind of like a tomboy back then.
That's why
I was the girl with short hair all the time. Actually, my brother made sure that my hair was short because he worked at the salon, and each time I asked him, do my hair, man, I want to look nice. We would do SKL. Right. So it made me stronger because with boys you can't cry. No. With boys you have to be more bold. So
were you playing football and anything? No.
I played netball.
Netball.
Yes,
okay.
and shot pull and javelin.
Right.
I wasn't much into sport. I'm more of a art person, performing art. I was doing drama.
We'll talk about that in a minute now. So you were not into sport, but you were doing more of art. So at home in Gugulethu, how was life growing up? Because I know our townships are known mostly for the negatives.
Yes.
So, but what are the positives for you growing up as a young child, as a girl in Gugulethu?
It was nice. I don't want to, I can't remember anything ugly about those days.
Okay.
Because we had games that we played. Like, if you find now, these kids of these days, they don't play as much as we
Outside games?
Outside games. We had a game called Roundasi.
Right.
We had games like Uqapu, which is the skip rope.
Okay, okay. Do they even do that anymore?
They do that, but only the youngest one. In those days, we used to play with people that are much older. You'll find people in their 40s that will play with us, but we are in early 12 years. And so yes, and I think I stopped playing at the age of 18.
Wow.
I was very childish.
It keeps you out. No, I don't think it's childish. I think it keeps you young.
Yes.
You know, we all live to live, because as a young person, you don't have any care in the world. Yeah. And we all need to find ways to, you know, relate to our youth rather than, as an adult now with all the problems and so on. So yeah, playing games till 18. I don't think that was childish. I think that was, like I tell my children, they're sometimes embarrassed, you know, about me. They're like, no, Mom, you can't do that. You can't. And I'm like, no, who says?
And you know, the other thing that we used to do that was nice back then in the days, we will get a certain street like NY 56 where I'm from, right, together with NY 91 where my grandfather is, where my father was staying. We will play against each other in games. So we will meet at the field and then we'll play games and all of that. But now you don't, and those are older girls that used to play that. But now you don't find that anymore.
No,
you don't find that.
Right. Now you're married and you've got children of
Yes.
your own, because obviously in Gugulethu, you said, yeah, you have the family network there. So do you still live that side, or which side do you live in now?
From Gugulethu, I moved to Tembane, actually, with my father.
Right.
I stayed with my father from the age of 12 years
Okay.
with my brother.
Okay.
So my father was like a mother and the father. We chose to stay him, although my mother was still alive at that time.
Okay.
But because my father was more of a soft-hearted one. My mother was more like me. I'm more like my mother. I'm that
So you
type.
ran away. And
Yes, so I went to stay with my father.
Okay.
So we moved from there, and then from there, when I got married, then I came to stay in Delft.
Okay.
And then when I came to stay in Delft, I also started the same thing that I was doing then, because in Tembane, I had a youth group, which I started from the age of 16.
Right.
I used to collect kids. I called
At
them
the age
kids,
of
but I was still
16?
kids. I still call them kids, but I was also more or less the same age as them. I would move my father's
But you were
furniture.
mature.
I would move my father's furniture around, and we will just dance inside the yard. I would teach them about life, positive lifestyle, and all of that.
Right.
So when I got married, I stopped for a while. And then when I moved to Delft, when I lost my job, then I started again.
Wow. That's interesting. So at the age of 16, you felt the drive to start impacting lives. So what was driving you then? And why the love of arts? What was it about arts for you?
I honestly do not lie. I do not understand it. I don't know how. But one thing I remember, from the age of 5, there was a girl who used to teach us dance. Those days it was Mitoto. Brenda Fass's song.
Yeah.
So we used to do that in those. So when I moved to Tembane, I also started the same thing. And it wasn't only for me. Funny thing, you know what? It wasn't only about the dance. I used to even take them to museum. I would ask them, does your parents take you to museum? They said, no. I will hire a taxi and then take them. I even have pictures of them going out with me.
I'm sure we will share some of the pictures.
When I look at those pictures of back then, and I look at now, I'm like, we are more or less the same age, me and these kids, but I never felt that
way. And they probably looked up to you as well.
They looked at, yes.
Yeah, they didn't probably, because that was leadership.
Yes.
At such a very young age. And I'm sure the role in your home, like you said, being with boys and having your mother's traits. You said your mom is late now?
Yes, it's late.
Okay, oh, so sorry to hear that. So you're like your mom. I'm sure you probably fight, because I know when people are the same character. Yeah.
We've never seen eye to
eye. Yeah. That's what normally happens.
But one thing that she does, she would, like, in our fights, she would even end up saying, you know what, please take care of my children. She would tell me that, take care of my children. Because
she knew you were at that, the mother figure even for her. Yeah. Right.
I even took my other brothers. I'm the one who took them to the mountain, actually.
Right.
And I wasn't working like a permanent sort of a job. The first one, I was working with Love Life, because I also was the groundbreaker of Love Life, where we'll go to clinics and counsel people that are HIV positive and all of that in schools after programs. Right. So from that money, we used to get paid 800 rand. I saved some of that money, and some of the money I would get them from maybe performing other places, because I used to be a performer as well. And then I would put that money together, and I took my brother to mountain.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's deep. That's deep. Okay, well, we're going to be going back and forth, with some of your career as a community worker and, going into politics. But what we'll do, we'll stop right now and we'll see some of your work, some of what you've been doing. We'll be right back. With some of your work that you've been doing in the arts, before we go into the politics, I know you've started some projects now, even in Delft. So tell us how or what do you do, you know, with your young people that you work with?
Okay, the project that I was doing before I became a counselor, I did an after-school program.
Okay.
Started with the two ladies that I had a problem with kids when it comes to doing homework. So I then opened up my house. They will come to my house and assist children with the homework. And then from there it became too much. And then we then asked the school opposite me if we can use the school to do the after-school program. But then the teacher said, principal, if we're going to do that, then we must incorporate together with the school children.
Right.
So what ended happening, we ended up having after-school program where we assist children with homework. While we're doing it, we use drama. Because what I find is some of them were naughty. Because not only do you need to teach a child homework, you also need to teach them in terms of behavior. Because they had a problem with behavior. Some of them had issues, like, you know, a teenager.
Yes.
And peer pressure and all of those things. So we had to deal with it. So for me, my way of doing that, I use drama. I use dance to say the message. Because some of the kids, if you notice some of them, if you put a child in front of the of a book and in front of the TV, which one they will listen to most is the TV. So I use that as well. I use drama because I know drama, they can remember something that you see in action. It always plays in your mind all the time than something that you will read. So I use that and I will compare it. Like for instance, we had a project where I wanted to teach it about cancer. Kids know nothing about cancer, but they did a drama on cancer. With that, doing that drama of cancer, they ended up knowing what cancer is. Every year I used to have a debate competition. Last year we didn't have because of COVID. Every year end I would get 4 primary schools in Delft that come together. I would give them each school a different topic, and then I will have a competition where they will debate on social issues depending on the issue that we have at hand, or it's too much, either it's crime or HIV or maybe it's drugs, it's all of those things. So they would debate on that amongst themselves. That motivates the kids to get them talking also. Because I feel that is one of the things that is lacking these days. We don't have that. Schools don't even have sports in Delft. That is why you find some of them, they go and stand and they do drugs. Because some of the kids, if you notice, they're not good in terms of learning. They've got learning disabilities. But some of them, maybe they've got that love for sports, for art. Maybe that is what they will become one day. But because now when they get to school, they feel inferior. But if you were to have that, it will motivate a child to come to school. Then I know at least there I've got my own corner where I feel I belong. But now I don't belong, I end up leaving the school. So that is the work that I was doing.
And that's a problem, you know, that I've been seeing a lot, where young people drop out of school.
Exactly.
Because they feel they don't belong, or there's no motivation, or there's no... So do you think the education, because this is one thing, and as a councillor, and you know, in Cape Town, do you think the education system and what we're teaching now is relevant for the young people? I know it might be a tough, you know, one, because yes, we've been used to certain syllabus, but what I've been, even from this that we're doing, what I'm hearing from the young people is we need more. Yeah, we do life skills in school, but there's more that needs to be done, you know, apart from education. Either, yes, teaching through drama, through art, or even teaching about how to buy your first property, how to, you know, things like that, how to save, you know?
No, what you've just said now, remember the information, the conversation that I had now, I said with me as a counsellor, I know that most people, whenever they see a counsellor, they will look for job recreation. And they like to have like workshops like HIV and all of that. I said there is no need for me to do workshops on HIV, on gender-based violence. That is done to death. Tell me, if I do a workshop now on HIV and all those gender-based violence and drugs, what experience am I giving that child? Is there an experience? Instead, I'm just wasting money. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it.
No, but
then the fact remains is that let's look at something that a child will be equipped to go out in the world of work and let the child work. Like now, for instance, I'll make an example.
Or to start a business.
Yes.
To start their own business, to promote entrepreneurship.
Like now, I was given a choice to do either a workshop on the normal workshop, which we have gender-based violence, and that on the amount of money that I had left. But then I chose to do a first aid. And the first aider that I'm doing, it's totally different. The one that I'm doing, they'll be working with the ambulances. They are going to be first time. For instance, if the ambulances call, the first people that are going to be on scene, it's them. It's accredited. What does that going to do to a child? That child, it's easy for them to go and work with the ambulances. From there, you move the child from that, and then you give a child learners. Then the child's got a lesson, learners. The child got a first aid. What's stopping that child to get a job at the hospital? What's stopping that child to get a, with the ambulances and all of that? Equip the child, give them something that they can be able to lift themselves up. Take the women into gardening. Stop giving them sweeping jobs because they're sweeping for 6 months. Then after 6 months, they're sitting at home and they say, where's the next job? Do you understand? Give them something. Give them tools. Practical I've told them, listen, we've got spaces in our areas. And then people, they want to know what should we do in the area. I said, Nana, clean that space and do a food gardening there. And feed your community. Because
food security is a big issue in Delft. So why can't we grow tomatoes? I've got pawpaw growing in my house. A lot of people, when I tell them, they're like, in Cape Town? Yes, I've got pawpaw. And right now, some people think, what's the word? You need a lot of space. But we need, what you're saying, those are the practical stuff.
That is
so
practical.
Please start pushing more of it. And you will find out how other township will start learning from Delft. And I think that's the thing with our young people and youth, whereby we've been used to certain things. We've been conditioned. So we need to get mindset change. Like you're saying, the first aid course, the food garden, all those things, they're things that will help and will benefit them on the long run. Wow. Now, let's go into, how did you get into politics? Because, trying to balance a community worker, who has been running an NGO, who is known in the community for art and so on, with politics, where you have to deliver, on things, and where you have to fight, to even get things done. Because for me, no disrespect, one of the things I used to say, I was almost pulled into becoming a politician in the UK. And one of the things I told my mentor then was, I don't want to be lying to people. If I can't deliver on things, that's why I said,
do it.
I wouldn't do it. And he said, I remember one of the things he said, it was like, well, you know me as a politician. Do you think, am I a liar? that was
good question. Good question.
No.
Yes,
and he said, well, because if he can't, he used to tell us, you know what, this one I can do, this I can do. So, but you see, a lot of people go into politics and, oh yeah, my mandate, this is what I'm going to do, because you want votes and you want the people. And then you get there and you can't deliver because your hands are tied for whatever reason. So how did you get into politics? I think that's my question. When and how? And how do we encourage more young people as well, especially women, girls, to go into politics as well? Because we need the politician. So
I started with politics through the same thing that I was doing in Tembane, 1996.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of youth work, and then my brother came to me and he said, "Listen, there's these guys that are coming here to the area. They're doing youth work." And for me, I was always keen on anything that has something to do with youth, as long as we're uplift. So it's fine, just bring them over. And then I saw them, and they were doing a cleanup in a space where I was staying. So I went to them and I said, "Listen, what are you guys doing?" And they said, "No, we're just cleaning up." I said, "I love what you're doing. Can I be part of what you are doing?" That was 96. And they said, "Yes, you can." Then after that, I believe that same year, we were in elections. And then I became the VD captain. I never even knew what a VD captain was, but I was sitting there. And funny, I'm going to tell you the political party now. People are going to be surprised. And while I'm being the VD captain, and after it was time for to count, and I took my cousin also with Zugisa from PE. Said, "Come also you." My brother left. He just introduced me to politics, and then he left.
And he left.
Yes. So I got there, and then I did everything. And when we counted, we only had 4 votes that year. 4 votes. The party, it was DP.
Okay.
I've never been an ANC at all. I don't know what
Okay.
ANC is about. That is the people that I was introduced to, and that is the people that I left. And I had a friend in there that were doing lots of youth work. We used to go out even. That is what I enjoyed. On weekends after campaigning or anything that we do, we would go out, we go to parties, we would go to clubs. You know what youth used to do?
Exactly.
During the day, I would be this ambassador. Then at night, me and my friends, and we would go out after the outing. I remember this one time, we went to a park, I think it was Kells River, something like that. The park was fully closed. And those parks that, you know, white people kind of a place, you're not allowed to go after
there.
hours. It was dark after 9.
Wow.
But we jumped in. We jumped in there. And
Part
we
of going out with boys.
we were the picnic.
Okay.
And funny enough, guess who was part of that gang? JP Smith.
Oh my word! Okay, so then you know. Oh my.
So we came way back with then, and
Right.
Chantal Fontaine, she's
Right.
also a councillor also.
Okay.
So we were that crew, and we were most of the time we had whenever there's an maybe there's a concert, DA has a something. Then even when DA changed from DP to a DA, I was part of those group of people that were there. Even when Tony Leon was elected, I was there on that day. Most people, they don't know that, but I've always been behind the scenes. But at the same time, I was active, very much active, because I was the first, actually, DA leader in Khayelitsha.
Right. Okay. So you actually had political, experience as well in Khayelitsha. Interesting. So what a journey.
Yep.
What a journey.
So now what happened is, after some times I left for a while. Not to say left, I didn't become as active as I was before when I got married. And then I found my friend again.
Because you needed to focus on marriage.
Yes, I had to focus on my children and everything.
And children and everything.
But while I was working for Home Choice as a supervisor,
okay,
I was Googling and I saw the name JP Smith. I'm like, no man, this is my old friend. And I
back in my life.
I said, do you remember me? My name is so. He quickly, immediately made an appointment with me. And he said, we want you back.
Wow.
I know how active you are, how you were in Khadija, and how you used to get youth for us. So that is when I started the journey of being in politics.
Right.
And then from here in Delft, I became more active in Delft, because Delft was kind of like a little bit quiet, not as much as, because Khayelitsha is very active. It's not like Delft. So there I moved from being a Don. I started from being a Don chairperson.
Right.
And then this year, I became now the secretary of the branch, and then I became a secretary of the constituency as well.
Okay.
So that's where my journey is.
Interesting.
So.
Well, we will be back. What a journey. We'll be back shortly now to kind of conclude, but wow, I can go, me and you can go on. There's a lot of things I still want to ask you, but we'll be back. Wow, what a journey, political journey, and I still want to find out more, but this is not about any party, because, I know, before people start saying, oh, are you supporting just the ANC, DA, as opposed to, no, this is about you and what you're doing in the community. So what support do you get from family, like your husband or your brother now, with all what you do, or even the community? What support do you get?
The people that give me most support, it's my community. I've got a friend with a name called Geraldine.
Okay.
She's my neighbor.
Right.
She's one person that's like, the
your
person that's staying behind you saying, you can do that.
Yeah.
She's that one person. My husband does give me support, but he's not keen on politics. He's
even though he pulled you into
quiet.
it.
My husband.
Oh, your husband. Sorry, your brother.
He's very quiet.
Okay, he's very quiet. He likes to be in the background.
No, he's that person.
But he allows you to do your thing.
No, he allows me to do my thing.
And the children?
My son.
How old are your children?
My son is the one who's excited about what I'm doing.
Okay.
His personality is the same as mine.
Right. How old are your children? 15-year-old son.
15-year-old son.
Okay,
yes.
wow.
And the little girl, she calls me counselor.
Yeah, I'm sure you are a role model already. So,
counselor, counselor's child is hungry.
Wow, that's awesome. So, in Delft now, what are the current needs that Delft, have?
At the moment, it's
I'm sure it's huge. Yeah, security.
Okay. And poverty. Those are two things. But the most one, it's security. We've got high crime. It's rising every day. A person is shot every day in Delft. It's
and
scary.
What do you think are the solutions? How do we address this?
It's the community that needs to come together, to be honest. Because people are scared. Even if the one that knows who does these things is scared to speak out, they won't say. And the police cannot do something when they don't know what to do.
And let's go back now, though, to why do people commit the crime? Why do they kill? Why are they part of a gang? Or why do you think? Is it the poverty?
Sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging. It goes down to that thing. Most of these kids, if you notice them, that are in gang. It's those kids that left school before time.
Yeah.
Because they don't belong. Their parents are doing drugs. Their parents are drinking. Their parents are being abused.
They already is a vicious circle.
Abused by them, by the father. So a child sees that situation and wants a sense of belonging, becoming a boss, because at home he can't control it. Then he goes out. So then outside he becomes this big man. He controls.
So how
things.
do we address that grassroots problem of how do we make young people to feel that sense of belonging? Because if not, we'll keep putting them in jail or keep addressing a rehabilitation, but it continues. So what do you think at school? So back to the school.
Those, everything that is happening that is wrong in life, for you to find out the problem of where you are, you need to start at the grassroots. You can't just go straight and ask why you do. You need to find out first, where did it go wrong? At the school, at home, right in the house. But mostly I feel the school can be a place where our kids can run to. We need to start having the after-school programs. We need to have sports. We need to excite the young ones to stay at school.
But how can we have the after-school program? How can we have the sport if the schools, because that's what I'm finding out with some of the schools I've worked with in Khayelitsha and even in Delft, they don't even have funds to do their field. They don't get the budget to, there was a school in Khayelitsha, the field is like mountain of sand, and they've got this huge space, but they're not conducive to do the sport. How do we get that balance? And meanwhile, the government, will say we don't have the budget. So how do we bring corporate people to help develop the sports field, and help with the after-school program? How? Where can we start from?
To be honest, the national government needs to play their part.
Right.
Because remember, in Cape Town, well, actually any province, we depend on the national government. People need to understand the money starts on top.
On top.
From top it goes to the provinces. So even now, as we speak, our budget has been cut in Cape Town by the national government due to the fact of the money that was eaten. We know what was happening. Let's not go there because there's another...
we don't.
But that is the issue where we are sitting with now, due to the fact that the money was eaten, but now we're sitting with a problem where the schools do not have enough funds because the money... The top people are eating it. Look at our police station, how small it is. How many people do we have in Delft? A lot. We've been asking the national government to extend that police station. We've been asking them to give us more police.
Because when it probably started, there were less people, but now the population has grown.
4 times more.
And it's still the same. 4
times more. I think for each police officer, they have to have plus minus 3,000 people to handle or something like that. It's a big problem. Okay. So we need the national government to come down and sort that problem out. From school levels, from the community, even now.
And is the national government listening?
They're not listening, my darling.
What can we do to make them listen?
Because
if not, the people you're serving will be frustrated.
Yes.
Because you can't deliver on the work you're supposed to deliver. Let's forget about which party you belong to. But it's about the bottom line, the grassroots. So how do we get is it not the people as well that we need to cry out to the national government? Or?
I think it's the people. because the political parties are doing their bit, because they are, at the end of the day, are the ones who are questioning them about this. But that is not enough. The people also need to come to party as well.
So they need to have the voice and a joint.
People are not talking like they used to.
Yeah.
Look at the apartheid. How did apartheid end? Did the national government end the apartheid? No, it didn't. It was the people that stood up and walk down there and march. The same thing that needs to happen, to demand the national government to bring funds to the people, to listen to the people, to what the people want.
But then what the people will then tell you is nobody's listening to us. And then what happens is there's protest. And then there's burning of, closure of streets and so on. So is that the way to go? Because I think the community is feeling nobody's listening. So until we close the roads and burn tires or throw petrol bombs, how can we, because you were part of the voice, you know, when you were growing up, and so how can we do a different, you know, kind of getting our voice heard? How can we get people to say, you don't need to do that? Because then the people who are trying to do that then say, oh, look at them. Look at what they're doing. They're destroying what they have. And then nobody wants to listen. So it's a catch-22 in a way, where they want to be heard, but they're doing it the wrong way. But they feel the way they're doing it is the only way to do it. How do we get out of this?
Like we're sitting now here, I believe that this recorder that we're doing will be listened by somebody. That one person that it makes different to, it changes their lives. The same thing needs to happen. A sit-down conversation where we sit down and put things down and make things happen. And we demand that the national government listens to us. It only starts with one person that stands up. We need to do that. The community needs to come together. And then we march. We can march peacefully.
Exactly.
The other day I had people coming here because I think our people are misinformed. People don't have the knowledge. People don't have the information. That is the other thing.
I was just going to say that.
People are misinformed. Like now people don't know why we have a small police station. People don't know why we've got little funds. People don't know that we are struggling and hospitals are packed. We don't have enough resources even in hospitals. People stand in the line, only thing that they see is that the service provider is not doing their jobs. But it goes down up there. It's up to them to stand up.
Wow. Me and you can talk for, because I'm passionate about that, and I really will want to continue the conversation. And we'll just need to, like you said, one person, you know, needs to stand up and, you know, do things. I have other questions I want to ask you, but I'm being told that, we should be rounding up. However, there are two things I want to say before we round up. So what motivates you as a person? What motivates you as a person?
What motivates me?
Why do you do what you're doing? Why?
People are going to think maybe... but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. It came from a dream.
Okay.
At the age of 19, I think I was 19 years old at home. I can't remember where was the verse, but I think it was in Jobi, where God said into my dream, you are to lead my people. You are the chosen one. That was the confirmation.
What age were you then?
I think I was around 18.
18 years, okay.
18 or so, yeah. Okay. So for me, when I was already in leadership, but then every time when I do this, even when I want to give up, I start to remember that. I'm not, I didn't just wake up one day and choose to be here. I was chosen. And I believe that this man is the one that can get me to where I need to go. And I'm guided by him, whatever that I do. Because if I do any otherwise...
That's God.
Yes.
I just want to make sure, so that people don't think we're talking about somebody else. So your faith, your faith has kept you going, and your faith, so it's a calling, it's a dream, with a vision that you were given, you know, at a very young age by God. And because, you know, sometimes, you know, we shy away as well from, you know, saying things, and we feel people will
judge us.
Yeah, will judge us for that. However, I'm a proud, you know, person in my faith, you know, and I believe is a calling as well for me what I do. So, you know, don't be shy to feel that, it was a vision God gave you at 18. And thank God it's taken you how long, to even get to, So, and a lot of people, don't realize that. They think, you've just suddenly woken up and decided I'm going to do this. And it's been a journey that God has been guiding you. And I'm sure I was going to ask you about the challenges and so on, but we don't even have time to go on that. But I'm sure there's been a lot of challenges along the way. There's been a lot of disappointment, a lot of failures probably as well.
Yeah. You go through that in life. You go through,
rejection.
A lot. A lot.
Exactly. So, but people now...
This was the second time that I applied to be a counselor.
There you go. There you go.
This was the second time I applied. I think it was 2 years back. So then I applied for the second time.
And now, but people only see you now and think, oh, she's made it or she's done it, but they don't know the journey, the cries in the back, the disappointments you face, the rejection, and all that you face.
Talking about the rejection, people, that I must tell the story.
Okay.
On the day that I was told that another councillor made it instead of me, that same day, I put on my DA t-shirt. I went to that councillor that won and walked the streets and helped him to canvass that same day. Because
that's leadership.
It's his turn. It was his turn. It was God's will, not mine.
No. Yes. Wow. I could go on, and I've been told now we need to probably stop and round up. And I really want to come back. Maybe even to work with you on some of your, walk the, to see, to see some of what you do. So if you don't mind, to have us back, because it's about sharing people's story. And like you said, if it's one person that we manage to convince, in whatever way, or to feel proud, of Delft, I will want to, do that, with you if you will allow us. So we will come back to have more conversations.
Thank you.
And I was going to get you to do drama or to say a poem or to, there's a lot of things in there. But I am going to be back. I think that's what I want to conclude with, even with the political side of things, whereby we want you to instill, because one of the things I have for me that I've seen in some of our young people in the township is the confidence. A lot of them don't have the confidence. Or maybe they have and they've been put down, or nobody, they've never been given a chance. And it's people like you that can speak, that to young people. Yeah, naturally some of us have that. Yeah. But we can develop, we can, grow some of these people to feel bold enough to say, you know what? I want to take more steps. I want to do this, or I can do this. I can do that. So I'm hoping, we can come back, to you and, you to share some of this and empower, instill, some of this in them. And in closing, what I want to say is there anything you want to share with Delft community, young people, women, anybody you want to target, to speak to? I'll just want you in closing to say anything you want to say to them. Anything.
Young people, old people, everybody in Delft. Remember, this is your community and only you can make a difference and nobody else. Together we can fight the crime. We know that the crime rate in Delft is getting higher every day. We need your assistance. Please report any crime that you see that is happening, anything that is wrong that is happening in your community in front of your door. Please report it. My door is open for any assistance with service delivery. We are here for you as councillors. In closing, also I want to say to you, have your dreams, dream higher, have faith in yourself, have the confidence to make a change. It only starts with you. Thank you so much for having confidence in me and for voting for me and for the love that you've given to Delft. Let's continue to make Delft a better place. Thank you.
Wow, that was deep. You're just natural. I will say that to you. I've only known you for how long, but I can see you're a natural.
Thank you.
And you have so much in there to still give of yourself.
Thank you.
So thank you for the time. Thank you. And I pray that God will continue to give you the wisdom, the strength, and the grace, because those are important in the job you're doing. And He will continue to guard you, to protect you.
Thank you.
So that you will not work or walk in the path, you know, that you're not meant to. So, because your family too needs you.
Yes.
So that is important. You've got very young children still. So please spend time as well with them.
Thanks.
Because they need you. Your little one that's telling you, my counselor. Spend time, you know, with them. Let them get that bit.
And the big one says to me tomorrow, he wants to open the bank account, he wants to go to McDonald's, I've got a long list.
There you go.
Already
so please
tomorrow.
Pay attention to them. They're your small constituent at home. They're your mini, because you know, we get carried away. I know from my experience. My children now, they tell me, oh, I'm scared. I should go to Oprah Winfrey and say, my mother never had time for me.
And I mentioned their names because I know my other side is going to say, when he listens to this, he's going to say, Mommy, you didn't say my name.
Exactly, please.
My youngest one, her name is Riarabetsui Buhle Masiu, and then the other one, the 7-year-old one, is Khawelo Samuel J. Masiu. And then the oldest one is Newo Lubabalo Masiu.
Wow.
And I also want to say thank you to one special person of my life, my father, who brought me. He's my pillar. He's my everything, as well as my husband, Mr. Joe Masiu. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, Lord Daddy. I love you, my father.
Wow, you want to get me emotional now. I'm just getting, yeah. Okay. Well, you've heard it all from Councillor Dineo, who is doing wonderful works in Delft. And I'm sure there are more people like her who want to do and who would love to do more in their community. So if you're here in Delft and you've heard, you know, some of what she's said, step forward. She stepped forward. She's been counted amongst the ones doing things. Leadership, you can have it in you, or you can learn it, or you can find someone who can mentor you to become a leader. I'm sure she's ready to mentor. I always tell people who are busy, they're actually the ones who can do more, you know, for people. So I'm just encouraging you out there. You've heard all what she's said. Together you can lift Delft up. It starts with you. A door, she said, is open. I don't know whether she'll be able to cope when you all start coming in, because she has said that, but I'm sure she can make a way. So dream higher, she has said to you young people. And thank you, a family, for rallying around her, especially her dad, her husband, and her children. Well done for giving her to the community to do this. And we wish her all the very best. So remember, this is Mama K. Till next time, stay safe, stay blessed. God is love. Love you guys. And yeah, just keep doing whatever you can to keep blessing the lives of others. Love you all. you.